What's up YouTube, Race Nation TV here. Welcome to the channel, and today I'm going to be previewing the Bathurst 12 Hour. We're going to start out with a brief history lesson on the race. I'm going to tell you who to watch for, a couple little storylines, and at the end of the video I'll be telling you how to watch the Bathurst 12 Hour. So let's get started. So basically, not to be too long here, the Bathurst 12 Hour was created after the Bathurst 1000 or the Bathurst 500 before it changed to kilometers. The regulations changed in the Bathurst 1000 from standard production cars with minimal mods to improved touring cars. The 12 Hours was intended to recreate that original feel of Bathurst 1000, but with a little extra unique test with the longer distance, because the Bathurst 12 Hours started just using standard production cars. That obviously is not the case today. Back in 2011, they went to the GT3 formula, which you may know in America as the GTD class, the GT Daytona class, and IMSA is GT3 spec. So that's how you might know the GT3 regulations. Since 2016, the race has been part of the Intercontinental GT Challenge, which runs the Spa with 24-hour, the Nürburgring race, just a bunch of interesting races like that. We're not here talking about Spa or Nürburgring. We're here to talk about the Bathurst 12 Hour. It takes place the weekend after the Rolex 24, usually every year. And then speaking of the Rolex 24, one thing I want to talk about is there's actually quite a few drivers that are doing double. They raced the Rolex 24 last week, and then they're heading to Bathurst for the 12 Hour because I guess they just didn't have enough endurance racing for 24 hours. So obviously I'm a guy who likes the Rolex 24, as you can see the rest of the videos of my channel with the card hopefully popping up. Hopefully I planned that out. I'm just going to list off some drivers that are competing. We have Earl Bamber, Lawrence Van Tour, Dries Van Tour, Oliver Jarvis, your pole sitter in the Mazda and the DPI, Romain Dumas, Daniel Serra, he was a Ferrari driver, Dane Cameron, Acura driver, Mario Farnbacher, Nicky Katzberg, who was for Corvette, but he's going back to his role in a BMW. I'll talk more about that. Roman DeAngelis, Via Supercar driver Shane Van Gisbergen, who raced the Lexus, and Matthew Jaminet. And that's not all, which actually is more interesting, is 4 drivers that were actually winners in the Rolex 24 in the GTLM and DPI classes will actually be in the race. We have Augusto Farfus and Shaz Mozart, who were teammates at BMW in the M8 that won the Black 24. And then actually 2 of our DPI winners, Renger van de Zande and Scott Dixon, will be in the race. Yes, Scott Dixon is going to be in the Bathurst 12 Hour driving an Aston Martin, which is pretty crazy. I'll talk a little bit about that in the end. So here's a little bit more about how the Bathurst 12 Hour works. There are 3 GT3 classes. You have the A Pro class, an A Pro Am class, and a Silver class. Basically, it's all kind of judged off driver ratings. Most of the big stars you're going to see in this race that I talk about will be in the A Pro class. GT3 is not the only class in the race. We also have a GT4 class and the Invitational class, but there are only 2 GT4 cars entered and 3 Invitational cars. Those cars will kind of be irrelevant unless you see them come out in traffic a little bit. So now we're in the point of the video where I start talking about the notables of who to watch. It's kind of going by quick, but some guys I listed off to watch. The 888 Mercedes AMG with Shane Van Gisbergen, Jamie Whincup, and Maximilian Gutz. Van Gisbergen and Whincup, obviously VA Supercar drivers, really good at Bathurst. Van Gisbergen's usually really good in a GT3 car, so you should definitely keep an eye out for them. They're actually teammates in VA Supercars. Obviously, Jamie Whincup, what more can you say about him? He's just a super talent. And then the next to watch, one that I am going to be keeping a very close eye on because this is a very interesting entry. We have the number 30, Honda Team Motul Honda NSX. So basically in America it would be the Acura NSX, but Acura is only an American brand. So in Australia it's the Honda NSX. If you've seen any touring car series around the world that runs the NSX, they've been Honda NSXs. It's a pretty cool thing actually. Now the reason that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this is it's a full IMSA lineup. We have Dane Cameron and Mario Farnbacher, which that's pretty clear on why. Mario Farnbacher ran for Michael Shank Racing. Dane Cameron ran for the Acura Team Penske Group, like he has for the past 2-3 seasons. And but what's more interesting is this is the car that Renger van de Zande is going to be in. So that's kind of, if you want to put the tinfoil cap on, you'd say that Acura Honda, they're trying to poach Renger van de Zande out of the Cadillac. So if you're one of those tinfoil cap types, then there you go, that's your sign. it's the only NSX in the race. It's the first time I think I've seen an NSX in this race, and so I'm really interested to see on how this car performs, especially with a great lineup like Dan Cameron, Ranger Van de Zande, and Mario Farnbacher. Those are obviously some really talented guys, but there are also a lot of other talented lineups in these cars. And another car with a very talented lineup is the #1 Earl Bamber Motorsport Porsche 911 GT3R. Yeah, Earl Bamber Motorsports. You might know Earl Bamber as being one of the factory Porsche drivers. I don't think he drove for the factory Porsche team this year, but he has in the past, I know that, and he's teammates with Craig Lowndes and Lawrence Vanthoor. And if you know how talented Lawrence Vanthoor is, you know how good of a lineup this is. Craig Lowndes, I believe, is a V8 Supercar guy. So, I mean, obviously, these V8 Supercar guys that come and run the GT3 class, they're going to be pretty good at Bathurst. They know their way around. They're mostly Australians. They get it. And you can't talk about notables at the Bathurst 12 Hour without talking about Audi. Audi Sport Team Valvoline, the #2, the 22, and the 222. You know, when you have drivers like Christopher Mies, Dries Vanthoor, Garth Tander, and Kelvin van der Linde, then you obviously have a shot to win. These guys, the Audi Sport Team Valvoline, the Audis in any GT3 race are usually at the top. Some really fast and capable cars. Now next up, we have some BMW guys. The #34 Walkenhorst Motorsport BMW M6 GT3, driven by Nicky Katzberg and our champs, Chaz Mozart and Augusto Farfus. Now, Nicky Katzberg drove for the Corvette C8R in the Rolex 24. And so it was kind of weird when he was announced for Corvette because he is a BMW guy, and here we see he's back with the BMW team. Nicky Katzberg is obviously a great talent. Chaz Mozart and Gustav Farfus, obviously uber talents too. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare. Now basically, the factory Porsche team with Absolute Racing, we have Patrick Pilet, Matthew Giminet, and then defending winners, Matt Campbell and Dirk Werner. They are going to be split up this year, the 911 and 912 entries. Dirk Werner and Matt Campbell won't be teammates. But obviously, when you have a stacked Porsche factory lineup like the 911 and 912, you're going to be competitive. I think this is a very competitive lineup. They're going to be very good. Now, finally, the guy I wanted to mention last, because I think if you're in America and you watch IndyCar, then I think this is the most interesting view for you. Scott Dixon will be with the R Motorsport Aston Martin Vantage GT3 alongside Rick Kelly and Jake Dennis. Now, I've never heard of his co-drivers, but Scott Dixon, the New Zealander making an appearance at the Bathurst 12 Hour, is something different seeing out of Scott Dixon. We've seen him do sports car races throughout I almost said the Patron Endurance Cup, my bad, the Endurance Cup, but I don't remember the last time we've seen him go into, I don't remember any time I've seen Dixon drive a GT3 car. The last time he drove a GT car was a Ford GT, and obviously these cars, the GT3 with the traction control and the ABS, they're totally different beasts, and I don't think Dixon's ever driven Bathurst. So obviously Scott Dixon is the man. He is obviously one of the most talented drivers of this generation, if not the most talented driver. So I love seeing Scott Dixon kind of explore other things in IndyCar, because it kind of just exploits his talent even further and shows us his real talent and potential, not just in IndyCar racing. Because if you judge someone's talent just on one series that they have driven in, then I don't think we're seeing their full talent. So Scott Dixon, keeping a close eye on him this weekend on Saturday for us Americans, Sunday for pretty much everyone else. Now finally, I'll be telling you how to watch the race. It's actually a free live stream on, if you go to bathurst12hour.com.au and you go to the how to watch and you go to the America, it's a free live stream on their website commencing on Saturday at 1:30 p.m., 10:20 a.m. Pacific if you live in California or on the West Coast. And then if you're confused on why it starts at 1:30, in Australia, that means the race will be starting at 5:30 a.m. And it will end at 5 p.m. Well, 5:30 p.m. I hope you guys tune in after watching this video. I definitely want to make more content like this. If you want to check out my other motorsport content, check out these videos, subscribe, and we'll be definitely intending to be doing more in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.